A good way Acolyte to remember order priority is pretty girls date more, or pretty guys date more, or pretty girls drive Mercedes, or pretty guys drive Mercedes, or pro golfers don't miss, pick one. And that memory aid device is to remind us that pre-sale orders have priority. So, there's a notice of sale on the bond buyer. Again, Gamma Global, I subscribe to that because I'm in public finance. And I see this notice of sale. It's a competitive underwriting. And I call up UBS and I say, hey, I'm submitting a bid for the bonds. Would you like to join my syndicate? UBS says yes. I call Bank of America. I say, hey, Bank of America, want to join my syndicate? They go, Dean, we are forming a competing syndicate. I go, ooh, say it ain't so. There'll be various competing syndicates. It's my example, so I'm going to win. I'm going to provide the issuer with the lowest net interest cost. So before we win the syndicate, Franklin Templeton calls me and says, hey, Dean, if you win, we want 10 million of those Seattle GOs for our Washington tax refund. So a pre-sale order is an order we receive before we were awarded the underwriting. It makes sense that we're going to fill that order first. And that's the whole point of Franklin calling me. I shouldn't feel special, by the way, Acolyte, because they're going to call, Bank of America. They don't care who gets it. Group order. So we win the syndicate, and maybe T. Rowe calls me, and T. Rowe says, Dean, we want $10 million worth of bonds. I say, who would you like to designate within our syndicate for the credit? And they say, yeah, Dean, if I designate UBS, then you're mad. I designate you, and then UBS is mad. I'm more interested in getting bond. I leave my order a group order, undesignated order. What I'd like to do is split my largesse with the entire syndicate. So group undesignated orders have priority next. Then we have pretty girls date more, designated orders. Fidelity calls, says, Dean, we like 10 million, designate UBS. Woo, good day for UBS. I call you, say, hey, you might want to call the Fidelity guy and say thanks. Just designated you, right? Very important. Member orders always come last. Brian, this was a while back, but New Jersey used to allow for new negotiated GO underwritings of New Jersey's GO. At the time, the governor was a guy named Governor Florio. And the governor would say to the syndicates, did I tell you my nephew is in public finance? I said, no, Governor, you never mentioned it to me. It'd be helpful if you put his firm in the syndicate and designated him for some orders. Now, that the rest of us are going to dime him out, turn him in, because his nephew was making $500,000 doing nothing, just being, putting syndicates and being designated. So, by the way, if we depart from that, Acolyte, as the manager, if I depart from that order priority, then I got to be able to justify it to the rest of my syndicate members. I'm supposed to be acting in the best interest of the syndicate. And what governs that relationship, test question, is a syndicate letter. They love to test you on documents, and the syndicate letter governs our relationship as a syndicate.